Oh, yeah. Lovely stuff. Welcome to the Gouda Talk. Back again with you guys for another show after Arsenal have beaten Norwich City 4-0. What were we worried about? What were we worried about? What was all that worry about a little bit earlier on? Hello, everybody. As you can tell, I'm in a rather good mood, it's fair to say. Very, very happy with that result. I can't believe Cedric scored. That's so funny. When he scored, it was just in the room going, Cedric! It was absolutely brilliant. Oh, dearie me. I hope everyone enjoyed the game. I hope everyone has recovered from an hour-long show earlier on and has enjoyed their evening with the Arsenal. We're going to go through plenty of your comments for the next 15-20 minutes or so and get your thoughts about the lineup, about the game, about the goals. I can assume that there's going to be more focus on one player than others, but we'll try and get there. So let's break this down first of all. I mean, the lineup surprised a few people. I guessed right, the Pepe resting. I guessed right, Xhaka and Ceballos in the middle. I guessed right, the back line, I think. Other than Holding, maybe? How close? This is what I said. So the back line, Cedric I got wrong, but it doesn't matter because he came on and scored. But Mustafi, Luiz, Holding, Tierney. Holding. It was Kolasinac, wasn't it? But Xhaka, Aubameyang played, and Nketiah didn't start. Nelson started with Lacazette. So, yeah, that was it was a strange lineup in the sense that Nelson started, which I was surprised that he did, because I genuinely just think of Nelson now as a bit of a squad player. But let's talk about Nelson for a second before we go on to the main things. He was energetic. He ran about a lot, which is basically the same thing as energetic. But he got involved in quite a few challenges, some nice dribbles, some really nice passing on the right-hand side as well. But I enjoyed a lot from what I saw about him. Has it changed your mind about where I put him in terms of if we got offered 25 to 30 million? No, I probably would take 25 to 30 million still. But I wanted to say that I did enjoy Nelson's performance, even though he started. Other players across the team, let's go through the goals. Aubameyang, I mean, how lucky are we getting with these goalkeeping mistakes at the moment? But at the end of the day, it's similar to the Foster situation when we played Watford all that time ago. Aubameyang comes in, steals the ball away from him. Great stuff. Really fantastic to see the commitment from our striker. Even though there's all this transfer speculation, contract stuff going on, it's great to see that he's got that commitment and his drive and his hunger to score as well. So, yeah, 100%. Really pleased with that. The second goal, I should mention, the other half was making dinner, and I was sitting down watching the game, and the only time she asked me to come over and cut up a couple of onions was when Aubameyang decided to score. So that was great. I missed the first goal, but don't worry, I got back and watched it. And then Xhaka scored, which is, I mean, it's funny because when you think about the formation that we're playing, the two centre midfielders being Xhaka and Ceballos, you don't typically see them being so advanced because you've got such a small amount in the middle. You rather than playing with 4 at the back and a number 10, I would think that they would hold more, but they were so advanced. Maybe it was down to the opposition that we were playing, but Xhaka was popping up absolutely everywhere. Fantastic goal, really, really well worked. Good play from the boys and a really fantastic finish from the Swiss midfielder. Love that celebration. It's great. I know he didn't do it. It's the GIF, but I love putting that GIF up on Twitter every time he scores. It's fantastic. It feels so good. And then the other midfielder, as Kaspar says, Ceballos was amazing. Ceballos was brilliant. That is the best performance we've seen from the Spaniards since we saw him play against Burnley right back at the start of the season. Clearly, that goal against Sheffield United has boosted the kid's confidence, and fair play to him. We're probably not going to see him again next season because I don't think Arsenal are going to make this loan deal permanent, and that's fine because he probably will cost quite a bit of money. But for me, I am so pleased to see him do well because there's a lot of criticism has been levelled at the guy. I just thought they were excellent. Jack Perry, one of our members in the chat, says Ceballos and Xhaka ran all over the pitch today. great work ethic. Yeah, easily. I think it's down to one of those two, and Aubameyang that gets man of the match for me. Xhaka was brilliant. Sabas was brilliant. Aubameyang was brilliant. Aubameyang scores the third one, which was obviously it's just classic. It's just classic Auba in that sense as well. But again, another horrible mistake from their team, giving the ball away, leading it to Aubameyang, who finishes like you can expect the Gabonese striker to do. So that was just a little bit lucky. And you have to say, if we're speaking honestly, the second half compared to the first half was, for the first 20 minutes or so, not very good. It wasn't very good at all. Norwich were absolutely all over us. They had a really good shot from their youngster, Ida. He looks a bit of a talent, I tell you. He could be someone to look out for in the future. But the strike he had, Martinez saved well. Martinez had a really, really solid game. Didn't have to do loads. But when he was called upon, Martinez was brilliant. Really, really solid play from the Argentinian goalkeeper. Fantastic stuff from the guy there. And then when you're looking at the fourth goal, when you're looking at the fourth goal, Cedric pops up on the edge of the box after coming on for Bellerin. I said on Twitter, I was like, well, as soon as he went through and up, surely we see Cedric come in, and we did. And my God, did we see Cedric come in? Now I know it takes quite a big. I mean, there's even an argument to say that his shot wasn't going on target and therefore could be an own goal, but it was. It's just great. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. I saw someone tweet on Twitter. Well, I mean, where else would you tweet? But I saw a tweet that basically said that must be one of the quickest debut goals of a player in the Premier League. And he's had to wait. And I was about to say, it's not been quick at all, mate. We've had him since January. It's taken him 6 months to finally get a game, but fair play to him. Really, really good for the guy. We didn't really see too much of him in terms of defensively or offensively, really. I mean, that's really all we saw of the guy. But if we're going to have more than that, then great. Do I start him against Wolves? I mean, Bellerin had a tough game again. He was better than he was against Sheffield United. There were some decent passes, but when it comes to the final ball, when it comes to getting to the byline, he's really struggling. He gets caught in two minds. He takes too many touches. He just goes that extra bit further, and he should be crossing the ball better at a nearer angle. I'm really struggling with the Bellerin situation. He's just not. He just isn't the player that we've seen from him in the past. I was so disappointed with that personally. So disappointed again with him. And speaking of, and while we're on the negatives, before I jump into you guys and get some more of your comments, Lacazette. Lacazette was really off kilter again. He missed that opportunity in the first half on his left foot. Just spurned it left of the post. And I mean, if he goes in the summer, who's gonna bat an eyelid really at this stage? He just has not turned things around for himself. His goal drought is seemingly never ending at the moment, and I just can't see a way. If he starts against Wolves, it's a big mistake on the manager's part. And Ketia came on and looked lively straight away, and just more energetic. And yeah, you can say that's because he came off the bench, but there was just more application. I felt maybe I'm being harsh on him. I just found, and Russ Morgan says it very, very well. Says Lacazette drops so deep, it's like having an extra midfielder. And that's the thing, is that when strikers get into this period of sort of really struggling, you see them drop deeper because they want to be on the ball as much as possible and try and make something happen for themselves. And that is one of the biggest signs of a striker that's usually up there on his own and creating chances for himself higher up the pitch. The fact he's coming so deep, I think, is a negative sign. So that sums things up in terms of the game from my perspective. Let's now go into the live chat and see what you guys are saying. Matt Gray, one of our members, if you want to become a member, click that join button. There's a link in the description as well. All your support helps with the channel and everything that's going on here. Really, really appreciate all of you guys. I was saying earlier on Twitter, easily, there's no argument, the best audience in terms of Arsenal YouTube is on this channel. You guys are brilliant. Matt Gray, 4 goals, 3 successive wins, back-to-back clean sheets. I know people will say it's only Norwich, but it's been a good few days. I mean, Matt Gray, you could summarise any sort of Arsenal story with that description there, mate. That is spot on. Just seeing Arsenal in in a nice frame of mind, in a better momentum, just so much more momentum, a better sort of feel around the club and the fan base. It's a shame that the fans aren't in the grounds to see it. But it's interesting because, I mean, seeing Arsenal win 4-0 at home, when's the last time that happened? And this isn't the point where I go on a rant about how I feel the Emirates crowd is, but it's good to see that they're not going to have to deal with that sort of negativity if things aren't going well for the first 30 minutes, which they weren't massively going great. I think at the drinks break, it was still 0-0. Things weren't looking too positive. We were dominating possession, but not loads was created. And I just felt that at that point in the Emirates, sometimes the crowd starts to get on your back, and psychologically it can have a damaging effect on the team. So not having that there, I think certainly maybe would have helped. And it's going to be great when fans come back, and hopefully this period can be an opportunity that without that added pressure, that the players can start turning things around mentally and become a bit more mentally strong. So that's something to think about. Adam says, decent goal from Cafu. I mean, Cedric. It was a brilliant goal. It was really, really good. Avon Teddington says, Martinez, terrific again. Yep, something we highlighted. And I said that when Leno comes back, you've got a situation now where there are going to be clubs looking at Martinez thinking, right, well, he's not going to be getting week in, week out minutes. He's playing really, really well when he's in. Leno is the number one choice goalkeeper. There's going to be teams that come in for this guy. And it's great having a really good backup player. But, I mean, I've got dollar signs in my eyes because all I can think about is another way for Arsenal to cash in on someone and make some extra money for this transfer window. I mean, let's be honest. We can also like Martinez, and I think he's brilliant. But say if someone came in with a £15 million bid, I mean, if he plays really well towards the end of the season, you can't think that £20 million isn't beyond imagining. I mean, I might be going a little bit crazy here. But if he plays really, really well and someone comes in with a decent bid for him, then fair play. Take the money, because Leno's going to be our first choice goalkeeper, and we can reinvest some of that money in another young keeper that we can develop and bring through. I think of Jonas Omlin, for instance, at Basel. So why not? Why not? And then also there's the other side of the coin, which is saying if Martinez does really well, then there's no, I mean, why not think that he could overtake Leno at some point? But we did say that before. We did say that previously, I remember, and then he had a couple of mistakes in him last season. So there is that to think about. So don't think that by any means I think that he should be overtaking Leno. All I'm saying is that if there's the opportunity to make some money in that area of a backup player, there's no reason why Arsenal shouldn't look into that for sure. I saw another comment just a second ago. Colin says, tonight's win was incredibly important. Heading into the FA Cup semi against Man City and scoring 4 goals at home will only build confidence. 100%. I mean, in the Wolves game at the moment, I said a couple of weeks ago I thought the league is gone. And I still, to a certain extent, feel that Champions League is just so unrealistic. But with the way that things are going for the likes of Leicester, and if Chelsea, the thing is that Chelsea and Man United just look so good at the moment that I just can't see those two. I can see Man United and Chelsea being the teams that get the top 4. If they drop some points, maybe, especially with that 5th place as well. That 5th place is going to be key. But no, we need to be looking at trying to get into the Europa League. Financially, it is important for us. But I just think that we should be looking at the FA Cup as the main thing this season for me, even if it is a really tall order to try and get a result against Manchester City. One of our members at Kitchener says, if we somehow get another Tierney on the right, we'll fly to the next level because Pepe will get a lot more space and freedom. Bellerin is just not helping him. Mate, we've got him. We've got Cedric. We've got Cedric. Remember that video I did about Raul Sanyehi, and I was saying, why on earth have we signed up Cedric to a 4-year deal? He's played 20 minutes of football. Let's not lose our heads, okay? Let's not lose our heads. Ayadeji says 15 million pounds is too small. If Kepa was over 60 million, you are living on another planet, mate. I don't think we're getting anything more than 15 for Martinez at this stage. Omar's asked the big question, Cedric versus Wolves, yes or no? I'm inclined to say yes, because Bellerin's form is just so down. If Cedric's training well, he scored a great goal, his confidence is high, Bellerin's is not. there's a strong argument to say, why not? Why not put Cedric in against Wolves? At this point in the league, as I said, it's not a risk anymore. We need to get into Europa League, but Wolves is a really tough side, and I just feel that maybe it's worth taking the risk and putting Cedric in for that game, 100%. Tekos Man says, sign Cedric to an 8-year, 300 grand a week deal. No questions asked. No questions asked whatsoever. Sign him up. 300 grand a week. I don't think you're going to get him to sign for much. I think we need to go higher. Carl Halberg, who has returned after a little stint on the sidelines back into the team, says a two-footed right back. When was the last time we had one of those? Cedric could be important for us if we put our confidence in him. 100%. He's here. He's ours now for 4 more years. So we need to invest in the guy. We need to use him. He's here. We're spending money on him week in, week out. Why not? Why not? Bellerin is struggling right now, and he will feel the pressure. And hopefully that competition will have a knock-on effect on the Spaniard to make him play better. It might not, but hopefully it will. Harry Robertson's loving the use of emojis. If you want to get use of our regulars in the chat, have you noticed that I've not actually given an emoji of me? I don't think I can face it. I don't think I can face an emoji of it. Every time I've gone to create one and I use a little cartoon filter on it, I'm just like, oh, it just looks so tragic. If anyone wants to try and come up with a cartoon image for the show, feel free. But it's just so tragic to be using one. Alvan says, Cedric signed a 4-year deal, scored in his first 4 minutes of football, and put Arsenal 4-0 up. My right back. He loves the 4s. It's a shame that he's not number 4. That really would have finished things off, wouldn't it? Matthew Hudson says, Bellerin may not have been bad, but he hasn't been good or productive either. Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. I don't think he was bad. He just struggled again. So it's a real tough one. It's a real tough one. And the real Janice says AMN has been great as well, and that's a fair point. Is that there's a lot of people. There's big competition for that right back slot. We all thought that AMN did really quite well. Why am I calling him AMN? It's Mainsley. Mainsley did really well against Sheffield United in sort of taking the ball forwards. His passing was a little bit off, but I thought he did quite well, better than Bellerin. So. Yeah, I think there's a decent argument. Another one of our members, Mike Hernandez. Mainsley has continued. Come on, let's say some Mainsley in the chat. None of this AMN. It's just like 4 more letters. It's more than that, but you know. Mainsley has continued to play right back under Arteta. So technically, we have 3 right backs. Would you sell Mainsley or Bellerin? It depends on the fee. If someone like PSG, who is supposedly monitoring the Bellerin situation, came in with 30 million plus, it would really tempt me, because 30 million you can reinvest really well in someone. And if you've got, there's no argument to say why not sell both, make 40 to 50 million off the 2 of them, and then reinvest in a younger right back that could be competition for Cedric. I mean, that's suddenly a situation that looks really tempting. Why not do that? And the thing is that we'll look back on this video in 3 weeks' time after Cedric has been deplorable in all the games that he's played and think, Tom, what on earth were we talking about? But you have to think in these hypotheticals sometimes, because football moves so quickly. And you can look back at videos we would have done previously, and both me and some of the guys in the comments will look so silly. But the thing is, you just have to speak in hypotheticals sometime and just think about different situations that could arise and could be financially viable for Arsenal. Goons Armory GSA says, Tom, I'm back. Big up on the show and well done to Cedric on his debut. Thank you so much for tuning in, mate. Really appreciate your support. Avinash, one of our members, says Mainsley doesn't want to play there. Leave him alone. He's got a defender in Avinash, it's fair to say. But that is going to wrap us up. So finally, to do the last thing that we always do, if you can sum up that Arsenal game in just one word, just one single word to sum up that Arsenal performance, 4-0 against Norwich. Personally, I'm going to go with revival is going to be the word that I'm going to use to describe it. Things look more refreshed. Things look better. Things are looking up. I'm really liking. I'm guessing a lot of people might just put Cedric. Avinash has just done that. Cedric, Carl Halberg says emphatic. is a really good word to use as well. And there's so many superlatives that you could use to describe that game. Michael Lee says comforting. That's a nice one. Luke says fluky. What are you watching, mate? KS says Wengerish. The real Janice says relief. Harry Robinson says Vengerball. Mike Hernandez says efficient. Zach Fair says new. That's interesting. I suppose that's in relation to obviously seeing a very new player in Cedric play. Progressive says Tunde. Arteta Ball says Harry Robinson. Again, when we do this one word, people like cheating. People do love cheating with these one word games. Thibaut Pest says Christmas. Boris Motum says one off. Come on, let's try and cheer him up. And Slavomir Histros says tree, which is a very weird word to use to describe the game, but we'll accept it. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, people. If you've enjoyed the show, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn those notifications on so you never miss a show, and become a member if you would like to support the channel by clicking the link in the description or the big join button on the channel's main page. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow for another show, podcast with some of the boys at 8:30, day after the game. We always do a big podcast, so make sure you tune in at 8:30 UK time for that one. See you soon. It's been a pleasure. And as always, up the Cedric.